The cry in the stormed wind screamed like a living creature across the frozen plains of Varnic 7. The planet was dark, deadly cold, and covered in sharp ice. Storms rolled over the land like waves. Nobody survived outside during a blizzard, but that night, something was out there, something small, something crying. Daniel Miles, a human explorer, heard the sound while repairing his broken weather drone. He looked up from the control panel. His hands froze in the icy air, but he stood still, listening. There was again a soft cry, carried by the wind. It was not the wind. It was not an animal. It was a child. Daniel grabbed his heat cloak and flashlight. His boots crunched into the snow as he moved toward the sound. Each step was hard. The wind pushed against him, sharp as knives. Hello, he shouted. No answer. He walked further. His flashlight barely showed anything through the blowing snow. Then he saw it. A small figure curled beside a broken rock, half covered in ice. Daniel dropped to his knees. It was a child, but not human. The skin was light purple. Thin arms, no fur, eyes closed, body shaking. The child's tears were frozen on his cheeks like glass. Daniel acted fast. He wrapped the child in his cloak, lifted him gently, and rushed back toward his base. The storm grew louder. Snow hit his face like needles. The child made no sound, no movement, just cold breath and shaking. Stay with me, Daniel whispered. I've got you. His heart pounded. He didn't know who this child was or how he got there. But one thing was clear: he wouldn't let the child die. Inside the shelter, Daniel kicked the door shut. He placed the child on a warm medical pad and turned on the heater. The lights flickered, then warmed the small room. Daniel removed the ice from the child's face carefully. His small fingers were blue, his lips pale. Daniel pressed a scanner to his forehead. It beeped slowly. Pulse was weak, oxygen levels low, but he was alive. Daniel sighed in relief. You're going to be okay, little guy. The child opened his eyes slowly. They were big, bright, a glowing green with rings of gold inside. And full of fear. The boy sat up, coughing. Daniel raised his hands. Easy, you're safe here. The boy didn't speak. He looked around, confused, clutching the blanket tightly. Then tears came again, warm this time. He pointed to the window, then tapped his chest. Then pointed again. Daniel understood. You got lost. The boy nodded slowly. Daniel sat beside him. You're not from here, are you? The boy didn't answer, but he drew something in the fog on the window. A circle, then a line through it. Then two small figures, one tall, one small, standing together. Then he pointed to himself and the tall figure. My mother. Daniel guessed. The boy looked at him with sad eyes and nodded. Daniel leaned back, thinking hard. There were no alien colonies on Varnic 7, no cities, no ships, only old crash sites from wars long ago. How did the child end up here, and where was his mother now? He looked at the boy. We'll find her, he said. The child tilted his head, unsure. I promise, Daniel said again, slower. He smiled. The boy looked down at his hands, then reached into a small pouch tied around his neck. He pulled out a metal shard. It was shaped like a leaf, glowing softly with blue lines. Daniel took it gently. It wasn't just metal. It was a signal key, some kind of beacon. Is this how she'll find you? The boy nodded. But then the shard blinked red. Daniel's eyes narrowed. That's a distress signal. He looked at the window. And then the scanner beeped again. Something was moving outside. Daniel rushed to the monitor. A black dot was approaching across the ice. It was fast. It wasn't flying. It was walking. Big, heavy, too big to be friendly. He grabbed the child and moved him into the back room, hiding him behind crates. Stay quiet, he whispered. The boy nodded, eyes wide. Daniel grabbed his old blaster, just in case. The door rattled from the wind outside. Then -3 knocks. Slow, loud, like metal on metal. Daniel's grip tightened on the blaster. Who's out there? He shouted. No answer. Just silence. Then a whisper through the speaker by the door. Give us the child, and you live. Daniel's face went pale. He turned toward the back room where the child was hidden. And made a decision. He turned the speaker off, raised his weapon. And said, not a chance. Asterisk shadows on the ice. Daniel stood in silence, staring at the locked metal door. Outside, the storm raged louder. Snow whipped against the walls. But inside, everything was still. Quiet. To quiet. The voice on the speaker had stopped. But Daniel knew whoever it was, they were still out there, waiting. He looked down at his old blaster. It was worn from years of dust, but still worked. He placed a hand on the scanner by the door, disabling all outside controls. No one would open it unless he said so. In the back room, the alien child sat hidden behind crates, holding the glowing shard tight against his chest. Daniel stepped inside and knelt beside him. "They're looking for you, aren't they?" The boy looked up slowly. His eyes were wide with fear. Daniel put a hand on his shoulder. "I don't know who they are," he said softly, "but they won't take you. I promise." In our past, no sound came from outside, but Daniel didn't trust it. He turned off all interior lights and activated silent mode. He watched the motion screen closely. Still still right outside the shelter. The storm had slowed now. Wind was softer, snow falling lightly. That made it more dangerous. They could move without sound, without cover. Daniel turned to the boy again. "We're not safe here anymore." He grabbed the oxygen suits, a cloak, and survival packs. "We're going to the old canyon base. It's not far. They won't expect us to move during nightfall." The boy nodded. Daniel helped him into the suit and covered him with a blanket to keep the glow hidden. Then they opened the emergency hatch, a small tunnel through the ice floor. They crawled silently through the tunnel. The ice crackled with each move, but the tunnel held. When they reached the outside, Daniel peeked out first. Nothing. No sound. No tracks. Just snow and broken rocks. He picked up the child and started walking fast across the ice field, heading toward the canyon. The cold bit through his gloves. His breath came out like fog. But he didn't stop. 10 minutes passed. Then something moved behind them. Daniel turned quickly. He saw it. A black shape moving between the trees. Not walking, floating. A long coat, metal arms, a helmet that covered the whole face. No footsteps, no breathing, just cold silence. A shadow on the ice. Daniel whispered, "Don't look back." They moved faster now, snow crunching under their boots. But the shadow kept following, never too fast, never too slow. Just enough to remind them it was there. Finally, they reached the edge of the canyon. Daniel scanned the rocks. "There," he said, "a small crack in the wall, just wide enough to slip through." He pushed the child in first, then followed, dragging snow to cover the entrance. Inside, it was dark and dry. The air was warmer here, and it was safe for now. The boy sat down, tired and quiet. Daniel lit a small fire and opened a food pack. He gave the boy a protein bar and a bottle of water. The boy hesitated. Then he reached out with both hands. "Thank you," he whispered. It was the first word he had spoken. Daniel froze. "You can speak." The boy nodded slowly. "I learned from you, watching." Daniel smiled. "You're smart." The boy looked down. "My name is Ravi." Daniel paused. "Ravi," he repeated, surprised. "That's a human name." Ravi looked up. "I was born on a ship near Earth." Daniel sat beside him, confused but curious. "Your mother, she's from your world." Ravi nodded. "They took her. I ran. They chased me." Daniel's voice was calm. "Who took her?" But Ravi looked scared. "They wear black, like shadows. They want me because I can open the beacon." He pulled the shard from his pouch again. Daniel's eyes narrowed. "This beacon, can it call your mother?" Ravi nodded slowly. "But only if I'm close to the mountain." Daniel understood. "Now, they're not just after you. They want what you can do." Suddenly, the ground shook. A heavy thud from above. Then another. Daniel rushed to the crack in the wall. Outside, shadows moved through the trees again. More of them. Not one. Not to for. Ravi stood up. "They found us." Daniel grabbed his gear. "Then we run again." But Ravi shook his head. "No, I want to fight." Daniel blinked. "Fight?" Ravi's hands glowed softly. Blue light. Like the beacon. Daniel stepped back. "You never told me you had powers." Ravi looked up, scared but brave. "I didn't know. Until now." The wind outside stopped. Then a voice came through the canyon walls. "Child of the beacon, surrender, or your protector dies." Daniel raised his blaster. "I'm not afraid." But Ravi stepped in front of him. "I won't let you die for me." The shadows appeared at the canyon entrance, and Daniel realized they were surrounded. No place to run, but maybe a place to rise. Ravi stepped forward, hands glowing. Tears in his eyes. But this time, they didn't freeze. The light beneath the ice for shadows stood at the mouth of the canyon tall, Black figures with glowing red eyes and no faces. They didn't speak. They didn't move fast. But they were closer now. Daniel stood between them and the boy. His old blaster hung in his hand. Behind him, Ravi's hands were glowing again, blue and soft. Like moonlight and water. The cave walls flickered with the light, revealing something strange. Markings. Alien symbols carved into the rock long forgotten. Daniel noticed it first. Ravi, look. Ravi stepped closer. The symbols responded to his glow, lit up as he passed. I know these, he said quietly. How? Daniel asked. I saw them, in dreams, every night. The ground rumbled. From deep below, something hummed. Then a stone plate in the floor moved. It slid open to reveal stairs going deep into the ice. Daniel and Ravi looked at each other. The hunters were almost upon them. Let's go, Daniel said. They ran down the stairs just as a red beam blasted through the cave wall behind them. The tunnel beneath the ice was glowing, now alive. The blue light from Ravi's hand spread across the walls, waking the old system. This place is old, Daniel whispered. Really old. They reached a round chamber. At its center was a floating crystal frozen in place, surrounded by strange air. Ravi stepped toward it. The crystal blinked. Blue, then green. Then it spoke. Identity. Match. Beacon child confirmed. Do you wish to send the message? Ravi's voice was clear. Double quotes. Yes. Send it. To her. The crystal pulsed once. Then again. A beam of light shot up through the ceiling, into the sky above the planet. A signal. Not just a call, but a song. It wasn't in any human language. It was music. Sad. Beautiful. Alive. Daniel single quotes as chest tightened. As he listened, even he could feel the message. Come home. I'm still alive. I'm waiting. Then the walls began to shift. The ice cracked above. Daniel pulled Ravi back. The system was collapsing. We need to go, he shouted. They ran back up the stairs as the chamber fell apart behind them. When they reached the top of the canyon, the hunters were already there waiting. One stepped forward. He spoke for the first time. His voice was deep, like gravel. You have activated the beacon. That is forbidden. Daniel raised his weapon. Stay back. The hunter ignored him. He raised a black device. It lit up and Ravi dropped to his knees, screaming. Pain ran through his head. The light from his hands vanished. Daniel shot at the hunter. The beam hit but bounced off harmlessly. The hunter turned his attention to Daniel. Step aside. Daniel stood his ground. No. The hunter pointed the device at him, but something unexpected happened. The snowstorm returned. Harder. Faster. The wind roared again, and from the clouds a ship appeared. It wasn't human. Silver, shaped like a crescent moon, glowing softly from underneath. The hunters looked up in panic. Then tried to run. A beam of golden light shot from the ship and froze them in place. The leader growled, She's here. Ravi stood up slowly, blinking through tears. She came. The ship landed gently near the canyon. The back door opened. A tall alien woman stepped out, her skin glowing pale like the moon. Her eyes the same as Ravi's. She ran toward him, and Ravi ran too. He jumped into her arms. Mother. She held him tight. My son, she whispered, crying. You called me. I heard you. Daniel watched from a distance, heart pounding. The bond between them was deep and breakable. The woman turned and looked at him. She walked forward slowly. You saved him, she said in perfect English. Daniel nodded. He saved me too. She smiled, then looked at the frozen hunters. They will return. Their kind never stop. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Then we prepare. The woman placed her hand on the beacon crystal Ravi held. It glowed gold. She looked up at the sky. I will make sure they know the beacon child is protected. And then she added, You're not alone anymore. As the ship rose into the air, Ravi looked down at Daniel. Tears filled his eyes again, but this time they didn't freeze. He waved. Daniel waved back. Then something fell from the ship, a small glowing stone. Daniel picked it up. Inside, he saw a memory. Ravi smiling, laughing, free. He placed the stone in his jacket. The wind was cold, but his heart was warm. Her name was Nora. The next day, the sky over Varnic 7 was clear. For the first time in many days, no storm screamed across the ice. Daniel stood at the edge of the canyon, watching the horizon. The glowing stone that Ravi left him still rested in his jacket pocket. It pulsed softly, like a gentle heartbeat. A small ship appeared in the sky again, silver and silent. It landed near the cave entrance. This time, Ravi and his mother stepped out together. Daniel walked forward slowly, The woman's long robe danced. In a light wind, she looked calm, but her eyes were sharp, always watching. "Thank you for coming back," Daniel said. She nodded once. "My son asked me to." They sat together near the fire Daniel had built. The ice walls around them reflected the soft golden light from the ship. Daniel handed them warm drinks. The woman took hers with both hands. Ravi sat quietly beside her. Daniel broke the silence. "I don't even know your name." She looked at him. Then spoke, slowly and clearly. "My name is Nara." Her voice was soft, but strong. Daniel nodded. "Nara, it suits you." He looked at Ravi. "Your mother has powers, doesn't she?" Nara turned to Ravi and touched his face gently. "My son is more than a child," she said. "He is a key." Daniel's brow furrowed. "A key to what?" "To the gate." Nara stood and looked out toward the distant mountains. "There is a gate deep inside this planet, hidden beneath the oldest ice." "What does it do?" Nara looked serious now. "It opens paths to worlds beyond this one, not just through space, but time." Daniel was stunned. "Time travel?" "No, not exactly. It shows futures, possible futures." Ravi spoke up, his voice small. "That's where they took her. The first time." Daniel turned. "The hunters?" Ravi nodded. "They tried to make her open the gate." Nara sat back down. "They needed someone with my blood. The beacon was built by my people long ago, and only our kind can speak to it." "But you escaped?" Daniel asked. Double quotes, "Yes, but they found my son. He was still young. They tried to break him." Daniel clenched his fists. "They didn't break him. He's stronger than they know." Nara smiled softly. "Yes, because of you." They stayed quiet for a while. Then Nara said something unexpected. "I want to show you the gate." Daniel blinked. "Me? You are the only human to protect one of us. Not for power, but for kindness." Daniel was silent. "I just did what anyone would do." Nara looked at him. "No. Most would have given him up. You didn't. That makes you different." Later that evening, they packed supplies and climbed into the ship. Ravi sat between them. Holding Daniel's hand tightly, the ship rose quietly and headed toward the northern peaks. Daniel looked down at the frozen world below. He had arrived here for a simple repair job. Now, he was flying toward something ancient, something hidden from all maps. They landed at the top of a tall glacier. The ice there was darker, thicker, almost glowing blue from deep below. Nara led them to a stone platform, half buried in snow. She knelt and placed her hand on it. The ground rumbled. Then cracked open. A staircase of light appeared, leading downward. No words were spoken. They walked into the glowing passage. The deeper they went, the warmer it became. Lights floated in the air like stars underwater. They passed walls filled with carving stories of Nara's people. Some showed beautiful cities in the sky. Others showed dark ships like the hunters, destroying everything. Finally, they reached a massive door. It was shaped like a tear. At its center was a circle just like Ravi had drawn on the shelter window. Nara placed her hand on it. It pulsed blue. The door opened. Inside was a room made of light. Floating stones spun slowly in the air. At the center was a mirror, but it did not show reflections. It showed visions. Ravi stepped close. Images flickered. In one, he was running. In another, he was leading people across a new land. In another, he was crying alone. In the dark, he turned to Nara. "What is this?" She touched the mirror gently. "These are possible futures," Ravi whispered. "Which one is real?" She looked at him. "That is up to you." Daniel stepped forward. He saw something too. A city of humans and aliens living side by side. Children playing. Peace. But then it flickered, replaced by fire. War. Destruction. Ravi gone. Daniel stepped back, shaken. "It's not just a vision," he said. "It's a warning." Nara nodded. "The hunters want this gate to choose the future they desire. But now that Ravi has seen it, they cannot control it." Suddenly, the room shook. A red alarm flashed in the mirror. Nara's face turned pale. "They followed us." Daniel grabbed Ravi. Back to the ship, but Nara stayed behind. "I must seal the gate." She touched the ground. The mirror began to dim. "No," Ravi cried. "Don't leave me." Nara smiled sadly. "I'll find you again, my son." The walls began to collapse. Daniel pulled Ravi as the chamber caved in. The last thing Ravi saw was his mother, standing strong in the light before the mountain swallowed her. The memory stone cave collapsed behind them. Daniel and Ravi ran through the tunnel as rocks and ice crashed around them. The glowing walls flickered, then died. Only the soft blue light from Ravi's stone guided their way when they reached the surface again. The wind had returned. Snow fell hard. The ship was still there waiting. Quiet, safe. Daniel opened the hatch, helped Ravi climb inside, and sealed the door. Only then did Ravi fall to his knees, sobbing. My mother. Daniel knelt beside him and hugged him tightly. She saved us. She gave us time. Ravi pulled out the glowing shard from his pouch, the beacon crystal. But it was no longer just blue. Now, a golden thread ran through it. Something had changed. That night, while Ravi slept, Daniel stared at the crystal. He turned it slowly in his hand. It was warm, alive. When he placed it on the table, it began to glow brighter, and then, suddenly, a soft image formed in the air above it. Nara. Her face, her voice. If you're seeing this, I am gone, or hidden. The gate can only be sealed by blood and choice. But I have left my memory in this stone for Ravi, for you, Daniel. Daniel, lean forward, protect my son, teach him, help him become what the gate showed you, a builder of peace. And if danger returns, let him decide what kind of world he wants to live in. Then her image faded. The room went quiet again. Daniel picked up the crystal slowly, a memory, stone. He whispered. The next morning, Ravi woke up with quiet eyes. He looked older somehow, not in years but in heart. She's gone, isn't she? Daniel nodded slowly. She gave us this, he said, handing over the crystal. Ravi held it tight. I don't want to run anymore. Daniel raised an eyebrow. What do you want to do? I want to stop them, the hunters. I want to fight. Daniel paused. Fighting won't bring her back. I know, Ravi said, but maybe it can protect others, so no one loses their mother like I did. Daniel saw fire in the boy's eyes. He was no longer just a lost child. He was becoming a leader. Later that day, the ship flew low across the frozen plains. Daniel used old scout maps to find an old listening post abandoned long ago. They landed there. Inside, they found working equipment, signal boosters, power cells, communication dishes. Daniel got to work. Ravi helped him set up a long-range beacon. What are we doing? The boy asked. We're sending a warning, Daniel replied, to nearby planets, to the humans, and maybe even others like your mother. He tapped the controls. The message began broadcasting. To anyone listening, the hunters are real. They are after a child with power, a child who holds a future we must protect. We need help, and we need to stand together. That night, while they rested, a soft chime came from the monitor. A message had been received from Earth, from a human command center. Daniel's old badge number flashed on the screen. Daniel Miles. This is Officer Cora from the Earth Alliance. We received your signal. Is the child safe? Daniel smiled. Yes, for now. Do you require assistance? Yes. And I think we're going to need more than just soldiers. We'll need protectors, scientists, peace builders. A long pause. Then the voice replied, understood. Reinforcements are coming. Daniel looked at Ravi. We're not alone anymore. 2 days later, ships began to arrive. Some were human, some were not. One ship carried healers, another carried builders. One even brought a teacher. Daniel and Ravi stood side by side as the new allies gathered at the old post. The child who had once cried in the snow now stood proudly, speaking to adults, drawing symbols from memory, helping them understand the gate's power. He was becoming what his mother saw in him, a guide, a light. One night, under the stars, Daniel sat by the fire with Ravi. The boy looked up. Do you think she knows? Daniel didn't need to ask who. She knows, he said. She sees everything now. Ravi reached into his coat and held up the memory stone, dotted pulse gold. A quiet voice spoke not with words, but with feeling. I'm proud of you, Ravi smiled. I'll make her proud, I promise. But far across the galaxy, on a dark moon, a red. I blinked awake. A hunter rose from shadow. He watched the message from Earth. He saw Ravi's face, and he whispered to the darkness, the child lives. Then our mission is not over. The return of the shadowed camp near the ice ridge was quiet. Daniel was checking power levels near the main console. Ravi was inside the warm shelter, writing in a notebook the teacher had given him. He was learning, fast about technology, languages, and even how to calm his mind. But something felt wrong. Daniel stood up and looked at the horizon. Snow was falling slowly, still, silent, to silent. He tapped his communicator. Base to lookout. Do you see anything? No reply. He called again, nothing, then a flicker. The motion sensor picked up something just outside the ridge, moving fast. Daniel ran inside. Ravi, he said, stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone except me. Ravi looked up, alarmed. Is it them? Daniel nodded. I think so. Ravi touched the memory stone in his jacket. I could help. Daniel shook his head. Not yet. Only if I say so. He turned, grabbed his blaster, and stepped into the wind. As Daniel walked toward the ridge, he heard a sharp sound of thump, then another. He reached the edge and saw the lookout station destroyed, the guard gone. Burn marks covered the snow. A shadow moved in the fog ahead. Tall, slow, heavy. Daniel pointed his blaster. Show yourself. A voice came from the fog, still protecting the boy. Daniel Miles. Daniel's blood ran cold. He remembered that voice, the hunter who had used the pain device on Ravi. You're too late, Daniel said. He's not alone anymore. The hunter stepped forward. Now clear in the snowstorm. Double quotes. No, the figure said, but he's still weak, and we only need one drop of his blood to open the gate again. Daniel fired. The shot hit but bounced off the hunter's armor. Another two shadows appeared behind him. This wasn't just one scout. It was an attack. Daniel ran back to the base, but he wasn't fast enough. The hunter lifted his arm and fired a red energy bolt. It hit Daniel in the leg. He fell. Groaning in pain. The hunters walked toward him slowly. Inside the shelter, Ravi saw everything on the monitor. He froze, then looked at the crystal. His mother's words echoed in his heart. You will know when it's time to choose. He stood up, eyes filled with fire. He grabbed the small beacon transmitter and stepped outside. Snow hit his face hard, but he kept walking. He reached Daniel just as the hunter lifted his weapon again. Stop, Ravi shouted. The shadows turned. Ravi held up the crystal. It's me you want. Let him go. The leader smiled. Wise boy, come with us, and we will not hurt him. Ravi looked at Daniel. Daniel shook his head. Don't do it. But Ravi stepped forward. I'm not afraid anymore. The hunter reached for him, but Ravi closed his eyes and held the crystal tightly. The ground began to shake. Light burst from the stone, blue, gold, white, blinding. The shadows screamed. Their suits cracked. Their helmets shattered. The main hunter tried to grab Ravi, but the boy lifted both hands and shouted, You will not take me again. A wave of light exploded from his body. The hunters were thrown back into the air, crashing far away in the snow. Everything went quiet. Ravi fell to his knees. Daniel crawled to him. You okay? Ravi nodded. I think she helped me. Through the stone. Daniel smiled, wincing. Your mother would be proud. The others rushed from the base, soldiers, scientists, even the teacher. They carried Daniel inside, began treating his wound. But all eyes were on the boy. No one had ever seen power like that. That night, the camp held a silent meeting. He's more than we thought, said one of the scientists. His blood carries a key to technology we can't even understand. A soldier asked, Should we send him to Earth for testing? Daniel stood up, leaning on his crutch. No, he's not a test subject. He's a child. He needs time. He needs a home. Everyone agreed. But there was one question left. Would the hunters return? Far away, in a hidden chamber, the broken hunter dragged himself to a control pod. He was barely alive, but his message was clear. Subject active. Beacon open. Send reinforcements. A red light blinked. Hundreds of ships began to move toward VARNOK-7. Meanwhile, Ravi sat outside the shelter, under the stars. He looked up at the sky. The stars twinkled gently. He whispered to them, I'm ready now. Behind him, Daniel placed a warm blanket over his shoulders. You did good, kid. I didn't do it alone, Ravi said. Daniel sat beside him. Double quotes. No, but you were brave and smart and kind. Ravi smiled. Do you think she can see us? Daniel looked up. I think she never stopped watching. But above them, deep in the black sky, a swarm of enemy lights appeared. Quiet for now, but coming closer. The boy who shined brighter than star sky was full of stars, but not all of them were stars. Some were ships. Dark, cold, silent. The hunters had returned, hundreds of them, hovering above Varnik 7 like a storm waiting to fall. inside the outpost. Alarms screamed, red lights flashed on every screen. People rushed to stations. Soldiers armed weapons. Engineers locked down doors. And in the middle of it, Ravi stood still. He was not afraid. Not anymore. Daniel came to him, his arms still bandaged. You don't have to face them, he said softly. We can run. We'll protect you. Ravi shook his head. No more running. If I run, they'll chase others. I have to end it. Daniel lowered his head. You really are her son. Outside, the ships began to land. Black metal claws dug into the snow. The main hunter stepped down from a large command vessel. He looked damaged, his armor cracked. His face partly burned, but his eyes burned red. He spoke with fury. Give us the child. He growled through the cold, and we will leave your planet in peace. Daniel stood at the front line. No, the hunter pointed. You are many. We are more. You protect one boy. Is that worth your lives? Then a voice answered, not loud, but strong. Ravi stepped forward. Yes, he said, because I am not just a boy. He held up the crystal. Golden light shined from it brighter than the sun. The snow around them melted. The wind died. The hunters took a step back. What is this power? One of them hissed. Ravi walked past Daniel, past the soldiers, and into the open. He spoke to the sky. To all who hear me, this is not a weapon. It is a memory, my mother's memory, my people's hope, and your last chance. The light grew. A beam shot into the sky, not to destroy, but to connect. To call others. To share truth. Far across the galaxy, on peaceful planets and battle stations alike, the signal reached them. The message was clear. The beacon child has chosen peace. Allies heard it. Enemies heard it. Even the children of the hunters heard it, and something changed. Ships turned away. A few powered down. The hunter leader stepped forward in anger. No, he is mine. He charged. Ravi stood still. The hunter raised his weapon, but Daniel fired first. The blast hit the hunter in the shoulder. He stumbled. Then Ravi raised the crystal high. The light turned white. Hot. It bathed the hunter in warmth, not pain. He froze, dropped his weapon. And for the first time, he fell to his knees. I remember. The hunter whispered. The others stood in silence. One by one, the red lights in their armor dimmed. They saw the truth. This boy had not fought them with hate. He had met their violence with memory, with forgiveness. The ship slowly lifted into the sky again. No shots fired. No blood spilled. Just silence. And then, peace. Later that evening, the camp celebrated. Not with noise, but with soft music, warm food, and stories. Ravi sat beside Daniel at the fire. You were amazing, Daniel said. Ravi smiled. She helped me through the crystal. He touched it gently, but now it's quiet. Daniel looked at the sky. She gave you what you needed. The rest is yours. Days passed. Then weeks. And Ravi became more than just a survivor. He helped design a new city near the gate, a place where humans and aliens could live, study, and grow together. They called it Beacon's Rest. Children came from every planet. Some looked like Ravi, some looked like Daniel, but all shared the same dream, a world without fear. One day, years later, Ravi stood at the edge of the gate once more. He was taller now. Wiser. Stronger. Daniel stood beside him, older but proud. Ready? Daniel asked. Ravi nodded. I want to see what lies beyond. He held the crystal. It lit up again just once. The door opened. A path of light stretched before them. Ravi stepped through, but before he vanished, he turned back and smiled. Thank you for opening your door when I collapsed at it. Daniel laughed. I'd do it again. Then Ravi disappeared into the stars, and far above, among the lights of a peaceful galaxy, one star shined brighter than all the rest.